You probably checked your phone today without actually deciding to. Not because you had a message, not because someone called you, but because your hand reached for it almost automatically. Think about that for a second. How many times today did you unlock your phone only to forget why you picked it up in the first place? Maybe you opened Instagram, closed it, opened YouTube, closed that too, then somehow ended up checking your phone again just a few minutes later. If that sounds familiar, you're not lazy, you're not weak, and you're probably not addicted either. Your brain is simply following a pattern that millions of people repeat every single day without ever noticing it. And once you understand what's really happening, you'll realize something unsettling. Your phone isn't just competing for your attention. It's been quietly teaching your brain how to give it away. Here's the strange part. Most people think the biggest problem with smartphones is distraction, that they're simply wasting too much time. But that's only the surface. The real question isn't why you use your phone. It's why you keep coming back to it. Because there are moments when you unlock your phone without any real reason. You aren't expecting a message. You aren't looking for anything specific. Yet somehow your hand reaches for it anyway, almost as if the decision had already been made. And in a way, it has. Not by willpower, not by a lack of discipline, but by a collection of psychological mechanisms that quietly shape your attention. One tiny habit at a time. The surprising part, most of them weren't invented by psychologists. They were discovered by psychologists and perfected by technology companies. That's exactly what we're exploring today. Not how to quit your phone, but why your brain finds it so difficult to let it go. Why your phone always wins. Monday morning, you're waiting for the elevator. It's taking longer than usual. 5 seconds, maybe 10. Without even thinking, your hand reaches into your pocket. You unlock your phone. No notification, nothing urgent. You lock it again. The elevator arrives. You step inside, and somehow you've already checked your phone without ever deciding to. Later that day, you're waiting for your coffee. Same thing. Standing in line. Phone. Waiting for a friend. Phone. Sitting on the couch while a movie loads. Phone. Even walking from one room to another. Sometimes phone. It's so automatic that most of us never question it. We simply assume. That's just what people do now. But here's something interesting. Imagine someone asked you, "Why did you pick up your phone just then?" Most of the time, you probably wouldn't have an answer. Not because you're hiding it, because there wasn't one. The action happened before the reason. That's what makes habits so powerful. The more often your brain repeats a behavior, the less it asks for permission. Eventually, the behavior stops feeling like a choice and starts feeling like a reflex. Think about learning to drive. At first, every movement requires attention. Mirrors, pedals, signals, steering. It's exhausting. But after enough repetition, you stop thinking about each step. Your brain bundles them together into a single automatic routine. Checking your phone works the same way. Except this habit isn't triggered by a steering wheel. It's triggered by something much smaller. A moment of boredom, an awkward silence, a few seconds of waiting, a tiny feeling of uncertainty. Your brain notices that feeling, and before you're even aware of it, your hand is already reaching for your pocket. Not because your phone solved the boredom, but because your brain has learned that checking it might, and that single word, might, changes everything. Because once uncertainty enters the picture, your brain starts paying much closer attention. Which brings us to the real reason your phone is so difficult to put down. The invisible reward. Take a look at your phone for a moment. Think about the last time you refreshed Instagram, or TikTok, or YouTube. Before you pulled down the screen, did you know exactly what was waiting for you? Of course not. That's the whole point. Maybe there would be something exciting. Maybe nothing at all. Maybe someone replied to your message. Maybe your latest post suddenly exploded overnight. Maybe absolutely nothing changed. And somehow, that uncertainty is exactly what keeps us coming back. Imagine walking into a room where someone hands you a gift every single time. At first, it feels exciting, but after a while, you know exactly what to expect. The surprise disappears. Now imagine something different. Sometimes there's a gift, sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's something amazing, sometimes it's completely useless, and nobody tells you when the next good one is coming. Strangely enough, most people would check that room far more often, not because the rewards are better, but because they're unpredictable. That's how slot machines work. Not every pull wins. In fact, most of them don't. But every pull could, and that tiny possibility keeps people pulling the lever again and again. Your phone works in a surprisingly similar way. Every refresh is another pull, another chance that something new might appear. A funny video, a message from someone you care about, a breaking news story, a comment, a new follower. Most of the time, nothing truly important happens. But every now and then, something does. And your brain remembers those moments. Not because they happen often, but because they happen unexpectedly. Here's something most people get wrong. They think dopamine is the chemical that makes you feel pleasure, but that's only part of the story. What's even more important is anticipation, the possibility that something rewarding could happen next. That's why the moment before you refresh can sometimes feel more exciting than what you actually find afterwards. Your brain isn't chasing certainty, it's chasing possibility, and possibility is incredibly difficult to ignore. Technology didn't invent this part of your brain. Nature did. Long before smartphones existed, our ancestors survived by paying attention to uncertainty. A strange sound in the bushes might be dangerous. A different path might lead to food. A new face might become an ally or a threat. Curiosity helped us survive. Thousands of years later, that same curiosity is still inside us. The difference is, today, instead of wondering what might be hiding behind a tree, we wonder what might be waiting behind the next swipe. And once you see that, your phone starts looking less like a device and more like a machine built to feed one of the oldest instincts your brain has. But uncertainty is only part of the story. Because even if your phone stopped sending notifications tomorrow, your brain would still struggle for a completely different reason. Your brain wasn't built for this. Fast forward to today. Information isn't rare anymore. It's infinite. Every minute, there's another headline, another notification, another message, another video, another opinion. Your brain still reacts the same way it always has. Except now, instead of searching for food, it's searching for updates. Instead of watching for danger, it's watching for the next notification. The instinct never disappeared. Only the environment changed. This creates a problem. Your brain evolved to notice what's new. Technology evolved to create something new every few seconds. New recommendations, new comments, new reels, new shorts, new trends. Not because every update matters, but because your brain struggles to ignore novelty. Think about walking past a construction site. Even if you're in a hurry, there's a good chance you'll look. Not because you plan to, but because your brain notices change. Novelty grabs attention automatically, and smartphones deliver novelty faster than almost anything else in human history. But there's another consequence that most people never notice. Imagine you're working on something important. You're focused. Then your phone vibrates. You glance at the screen. Only 3 seconds. Nothing important. You put it back down. Seems harmless, right? Not exactly. Because your attention doesn't switch. Like a light, it lingers. Part of your mind keeps wondering. Who texted me? Should I check later? Was it important? Even after you've returned to work, a small part of your attention never really did. Psychologists call this attention residue. Your body moved back to the task. Your thoughts didn't. That's why, after a single notification, it can take several minutes to fully concentrate again. Not because you're distracted, because your brain is still trying to finish the story it just started. And maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding of all. Most people think phones steal their attention all at once. They don't. They steal it, a few seconds at a time. A notification here, a quick glance there, one short scroll before bed, one check while waiting in line. None of those moments feel important. But together, they quietly shape how your brain learns to pay attention. The strange thing is, your phone isn't forcing you to do any of this. It doesn't have to. It only needs to offer the possibility. Your brain does the rest. And once that pattern repeats, hundreds or even thousands of times, it starts to feel normal, not because it's natural, but because it's familiar. Which raises an important question. If your brain isn't broken and your phone isn't truly in control, then how do you take your attention back? Taking your attention back. If you've made it this far, you might be expecting a list of productivity hacks. Turn off your notifications, delete social media, put your phone in another room. And yes, those things can help, but they all assume the problem is a lack of discipline. What if that's the wrong place to start? Imagine leaving a bowl of candy on your desk. Every time you look up, it's right there. Could you resist it? Maybe, for an hour, a day, even a week, but eventually, most people would give in. Now imagine putting that same bowl inside a cupboard. Nothing about your self-control changed. The temptation simply stopped asking for your attention every few minutes. That's the difference between relying on willpower and designing your environment. Your phone works the same way. Every notification is a question. Every vibration is an invitation. Every colorful icon is asking your brain to make one more decision. And every decision uses a little bit of mental energy. The goal isn't to win that battle hundreds of times a day. The goal is to stop fighting unnecessary battles in the first place. That's why some of the simplest changes often make the biggest difference. Keeping your phone out of reach while you work, turning off notifications that don't actually matter, charging your phone outside the bedroom instead of beside your pillow. Not because these tricks magically increase your discipline, but because they remove the cues that trigger the habit before it even begins. You're not making yourself stronger, you're making the habit weaker. There's something else worth remembering. Boredom isn't the enemy. In fact, for most of human history, being bored was completely normal. It was during those quiet moments, walking, waiting, doing nothing, that our minds wandered. We reflected, we imagined, we solved problems. Today, those moments rarely last more than a few seconds before we reach for a screen, and little by little, we teach our brains that every empty moment must be filled. Maybe that's why silence feels uncomfortable. Not because silence changed, but because we've forgotten how to experience it. Taking back your attention doesn't mean rejecting technology. Your phone is an incredible tool. It helps us learn, create, connect with people we love. The problem begins when a tool quietly becomes the default answer to every moment of boredom. So, perhaps the real goal isn't to use your phone less, it's to choose more consciously when you use it. Because every time you unlock your screen, you're spending something far more valuable than time. You're spending attention. And attention is the foundation of every habit, every relationship, every goal you'll ever build.
Stolen?
Once it's gone, you don't get those moments back. So maybe the question was never, how do I stop checking my phone? Maybe the better question is, who gets to decide where my attention goes? Let's go back to the question we started with. Why can't you stop checking your phone? After everything we've explored, the answer probably isn't what most people expect. It isn't because you're lazy, it isn't because you lack discipline, and it isn't because your brain is somehow broken. For millions of years, your mind evolved to notice change, to stay curious, to pay attention to uncertainty. Those instincts helped our ancestors survive. Today, they're meeting a world designed to trigger them every few seconds. Your phone didn't create those instincts. It simply learned how to speak their language. Maybe that's why this matters, because once you understand what's happening, something changes. The next time your hand reaches for your phone, you might pause just for a moment and ask yourself, why am I picking it up? Not because checking your phone is wrong. Sometimes there's a message that matters, a friend who needs you, something worth seeing. The goal isn't to reject technology. The goal is to stop living on autopilot. Because attention is more than just another resource. It's where your life happens. Whatever receives your attention slowly shapes your thoughts, your habits, your relationships, and eventually, the person you become. So maybe the real question was never, how often do you check your phone? Maybe it's this, who decides where your attention goes? If this video made you notice something that you've been doing every single day without ever realizing it, then Cultural Mind has done exactly what it was created to do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.